Most of us spend our lives sitting in an empty dirt field, waiting for the bees to show up. We rely entirely on the external environment, a new job, a better relationship, a sudden windfall, to dictate our internal state. When the world doesn't provide the resources we think we need, we just freeze. Living in this constant state of reaction traps us almost exclusively above the neck. We spend our days caught up in mental calculations and endless anxieties, effectively reducing our bodies to a simple meat vehicle whose only job is to carry our stressed-out brains from room to room. But a specific group practicing out of a local dojo approaches this problem from the exact opposite direction. They operate on the premise that your internal state must precede the physical world. If you lack the external resources to build a meadow, your internal capacity to project reality has to do the heavy lifting. They execute this projection using a biological framework called autopoiesis. In biology, autopoiesis describes how a cell continuously produces the components it needs to maintain its own existence. Here, it translates into a highly disciplined psychological engine, a continuous, deliberate loop of self-creation. To break out of our default survival mode, we have to stop waiting for external circumstances to align. Instead, the focus drops to the microscopic level, taking rigorous control over the tiniest physical actions a human being can make. The first stage of this design process isolates the fundamental cells of human behavior. We are talking about the exact way you draw a single breath, the way you align your spine when you stand, how you listen when someone else is speaking. When a person carries unaddressed psychological trauma, they constantly leak vital energy. That invisible bleed happens through unconscious, anxious physical tiffs, a shallow breath, a defensive rounding of the shoulders, or a scattered, darting gaze. You address leaks with golden intention, mirroring kintsugi, repairing pottery with gold. Rather than hiding damage, you illuminate scars. Managing everyday actions with total focus seals those cracks, cutting off energy drains that lock your nervous system in chronic panic. Once you stop bleeding energy over every minor frustration, you achieve a baseline of biological stability. Without that solid physical ground, any attempt to rewrite your personal identity will collapse. With a stable core, the construction project requires a massive preliminary demolition. You have to actively break 3 specific mental illusions: the polite social lies we tell to survive, our deep ideological biases, and the inherited structures of fear handed down through our ancestry. As humans, we physically only see about 120 degrees of our surroundings without turning our heads. Yet we constantly treat that narrow slice of personal bias as absolute truth, completely ignoring the full 360 degrees of reality surrounding us. Shattering those limitations allows a person to step into the role of an Ethiopios. From ancient Greek, the word translates to actor. Not in the sense of faking a script, it literally means the maker of an ethos. You transition from a passive worker into the deliberate creator of a genuine œuvre. This architect operates by a strict code. There is zero room for half efforts or empty promises. It requires a flawless, radical alignment between the words you speak and the physical actions you execute. But philosophical frameworks this dense carry a major risk. If authoring a powerful internal identity cannot survive the actual friction of laying down mats and arranging a room on a Tuesday night, the philosophy fails entirely. Grounding this high-minded philosophy means applying it directly to intensely boring chores. In this group schedule, a towering concept like reality design is executed by arriving exactly 30 minutes early to sweep a dojo floor. They practice the economy of space. It is a strict engineering of the physical environment, where every single tool has a dedicated, permanent home. You never waste a drop of energy frantically searching for what you need. This introduces the fractal nature of their training. A fractal is a pattern where the smallest part perfectly mirrors the whole. The exact manner in which you lay down a simple practice mat is a direct reflection of how you project your entire existence. By standardizing the physical space, you eliminate the visual noise of chaos. This specific cognitive function immediately settles the mind's anxiety by 50%. Executing those perfect physical boundaries is the actual work. It forces the chaotic mind to serve the calm body, building a stabilized vessel that allows true stillness and inspiration to finally enter. All of this intense individual preparation creates a massive complication. If you put a dozen uncompromising architects into a single room, each fully committed to projecting their own reality, it sounds like a recipe for constant ego clashes. To prevent that chaos, the group relies on a rule that initially sounds incredibly cold. The leader explicitly states, "No one is responsible for the other." We are conventionally taught that being a good team player means being codependent. We try to carry each other's emotional burdens and constantly fix the people around us. This group views that behavior as a trap that drains the vital energy of everyone involved. To understand why, you have to apply a major physical shift to your worldview. Imagine that you are not moving through empty space. Instead, visualize reality as an ocean of highly viscous, heavy water. When you move blindly out of your lane to manage someone else, your frantic actions generate massive waves. You create violent turbulence that physically destabilizes the entire pool, making the environment far more dangerous for the exact person you were trying to help. Refusing to carry another person's burden is an act of deep compassion. You show absolute respect for the community by taking 100% personal responsibility for your own health, your own breath, and your own precise movements. The ultimate execution of reality design is simply managing your wake. By moving with isolated intention, you ensure your ripples remain calm and supportive. And when the precise currents of two realized architects finally intersect, they don't clash, they synchronize without a word, forming a completely new tide that neither could have ever built alone.